What's up, everybody? I'm Loni Love, comedian, actress, Emmy Award-winning talk show host.
And I'm Erica Montalvo, writer, showrunner, and Loni's super fun sidekick.
That's right, Erica, and thank you all for joining us for another episode. We've got a fun one today. For our grown-ass topic today, we will be talking to my girl, Margaret Cho, about being okay being solo. I like that. But before we dive in, let's catch up with Erica. Erica, what's on your mind? What's happening?
Well, I must tell you, the Huxtables loved the last episode. Like, shocker. Yeah, because we didn't say any bad words. Well, you said one. So my mom said, just tell Loni to watch out.
I'm going to keep on cussing, Mom. Fuck that.
She still got a little bit of it. When she said hi, she tell Loni I said hi, but then tell her to watch her mouth. I was like, all right, I'll tell her.
That's not happening. I'm a comic.
I'm like, have you seen Loni? That's no.
Well, we love you, Claire Huxtable, and thank you for listening. What else is going on?
I had to go on Hinge and go on a date.
What? You went out on a date? Oh, do tell. Finally, something I want to hear from you about. Okay, what is it?
First of all, how dare you? I blame you because I was at home not being able to go to one of your plus ones. So I had to go on and trolling on Hinge for like something to do. So I go with this guy who's a super sweet guy. Like he works for Apple, like, you know, like kind of nerdy. But I was like, okay, Erica, like you can like go out with people who are not like in Hollywood. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to like, you know, expand my horizons. I go with this guy, and it was cute. He was sweet and nice and tall, and like we had a wonderful conversation. But like he's not like my normal type. He's a little like nerdy, you know. But I'm like, okay, maybe he's my Mark Zuckerberg. Maybe he's my, you know, like maybe he's my Google guy. You know, I'm like Serena's got her a nerd. You know, I mean that's not going well right now. But I digress.
What do you mean it's not going well? Wait, what happened?
Oh, I thought that they were her and Serena and her man. I thought they were having like a little
no.
Separation. Oh. Okay,
no,
don't quote me, y'all. Serena, do not come for me. I don't know.
Fine.
I was reading the wrong thing. But anyway, so good for them. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get my billionaire. So we go on a date, and it was fine. We had a good time. We spent like, you know, a couple hours like having cocktails, whatever. I go home the next day, and he texts me, and he's like, yo, it was really fun meeting you. I'm like, yeah, you too. And I, again, was not really interested in him, but I think women, and we will talk to Margaret about this today. You'll hear from Margaret. I think we don't follow our instincts, right? So I was not attracted to this guy, but I was like, okay, I'll give him a second chance because maybe I need to broaden my horizons, date a little nerdy. So he had the nerve to text me and be like, you know, I really had a good time with you, but I don't think there's a romantic connection there.
He beat you to the punch.
Yes! I'm like, I was going to say that. I was so pissed off. I was like, listen, in the future, I will pull the trigger more quickly because I was like, how dare you?
I love that. Well, you know.
You and your Apple ass. He had the nerve to even correct me on my phone. He's like, oh, you know your phone is like doing this, and this. I'm like, who cares? I don't care. That would have been our life. It would be him correcting me on how I'm not using my phone.
Oh, everything that you're doing. Well, you know what? That's okay. You will find the one day.
I don't care anymore. I'm out.
Right now, I want to give a shout out to Project Angel Food. They gave a wonderful Angel Awards and they honored Debbie Allen. So that was really great. You just keep on doing it. You'll be fine. Okay. You'll find your angel.
I would have rather been with you and Debbie Allen and Norm Nixon than be on my Apple date.
Well, it's okay. It's coming soon. All right, people, we got a great episode for you all today. We're going to get into all sorts of stuff. We're going to be talking about the VP debate. We're going to talk about what's going on with Prince Harry. And we're going to be talking about Kathy Bates' Matlock and more. And in today's grown-ass topic, we're going to be joined by our friend Margaret Cho as we talk about being okay being solo. Because that's what Erica's going to be for a while.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
We'll get into all of that. This is grown-ass women talking. Oh, my goodness. That's hilarious. Are you a grown-ass woman with something to say? What are you unapologetic about? What's got you fired up?
Are you thrilled the kids are back in school? Or are you mad at your friends for asking you out after 9 p.m.? Did you get stood up on your third Tinder date this week? Whatever it is, let it all out.
Visit our website at gawtpod.com and leave us a voice message. That's gawtpod.com, or drop us a voice note at gawtpod@gmail.com. We might just play your message on our next episode.
So don't hold back. This is your space to talk about it.
We're back with more GAWT. Now it's time for Grown Ass News. Each week, I'll get Erica's take on the week's entertainment news, current events, and news about grown ass women. Up first, Prince Harry is going solo.
Oh,
and
boy.
The UK press is going crazy about this. It seems as if he's gone on maybe 10 or 12 engagements all around the world. He's currently in Africa, but he was in the UK. He's been everywhere, and he's been by himself. And Meghan is staying at home with the redhead babies, I'm sure. And the British,
the gingers.
They're like saying, is there something wrong? Why isn't she with him? They're counting how many engagements he has, that he's been going solo. Why do you think he's going solo all of a sudden?
Well, how long have they been married now? Like 5 years? That's about the point where you start going solo.
You want to be by yourself.
Trust me.
Hey, stay with the babies.
In both my marriages, it's like, oh, you know what? You want to go to Italy? Go ahead and see your parents by yourself. I mean, that's just what happened. That's life. But can I tell you, first of all, I have connections to both of these things because Meghan and I went to the same high school, Bougie
Really?
High. We went to Bougie High. And I was there a little bit before her, but
Oh, okay. Far, like 10 years before her?
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? But I will also say, I do think that this is a slippery slope, because I think that Harry's in a place now where he's regretting a little bit that he's like distanced himself from his family. And I think he's trying to like angle himself back in, and he knows he can't go back in with her on his, like, hey, me and Meghan are here. It's like, who? But it's like, oh, I'm here without Meghan. Then he can maybe get like inside the palace gates a little bit. They might let him in the door, the hallway. You know what I mean?
I will say this: they definitely need him. I think that with the
Harry.
health issues with the king, the health issues with Princess Catherine,
Kate,
I think, I think that it really, that makes you change a little bit. And there are all kind of rumors, but I really believe that she's in Montecito making jam with Oprah and taking care of the kids. And maybe this is a reset for him. That's what it looks like to me.
She has to be very careful. Here's what I say, because you don't want to come between a man and his family. You just don't. Like, you don't want to be the reason a man is estranged from his family. I will tell you, again, with my Italian ex, I would never forget when we first got engaged. Like, his family lived in Italy, and I spent a lot of time there once we got married. But when we first got engaged, I met him here in America because he had come here to work. And we FaceTimed his parents to tell them we were engaged, right? So we're like, we're engaged. And his mom just started bawling, crying. Like, she was like, oh! I mean, like, I was like... And I said, I'm like, is she upset that because I'm black? I thought it was a Meghan kind of thing, And he's like, no, she's upset because you're American. And I think she was like, she thought he'd come here, try to, make his business happen and come back home. But once he was going to marry an American woman, like, she knew she'd lost him, basically. And that's what happens. Like, women take the sons away. And I think that's one of the things that's going on with Harry. And so I always felt very compelled to go to Italy whenever we could to see them, because I wanted to make it clear to them that I wasn't taking their son. Like, we're a family, and it worked out well for that 12 years until I hated their son. But I love them. I think Meghan has to be very careful, because she doesn't want Harry to resent her for estranging him from his family.
Well, he looks like he's having a ball, so we'll keep up with this.
Yes.
And it's always family drama, and continuing with the family drama. We know John Amos, the actor. He was on Good Times. He was in the movie Roots. I was even in a movie with John Amos called Badasses. Yes, I was, back in 2015. Great man, and I was sorry to hear about his passing, but his daughter Shannon revealed that she learned about her father's death through the media, We were devastated and left with many questions about how this happened 45 days ago. He died like in August, and it
Yeah.
was just announced this week that he passed, and we were all shocked. But she says that she learned through the media like many of you, and
Oh
she
no.
posted this on Instagram. She also added, this should be a time of honoring and celebrating his life. We're struggling to navigate the waves of emotions. She put up another post. She says she believes that there was a woman who was there at his deathbed that was posing as his daughter, and she says, I'm his only daughter, and she believes that that is whoever this publicist lady is. This has been going on for a while between John Amos's daughter Shannon and his son KC.
Mm.
KC has been taking care of him, and I don't know why for 45 days, because he was cremated, and there was probably some insurance, but this
Mm.
definitely, it's heartbreaking to hear that his daughter found out like the rest of us. What do you think?
That is too bad. I mean, listen again. We talk about this all the time, like just with Harry. Like families are complicated, you know. And listen, I mean, we also talked about this a couple weeks ago. Sometimes, you know, like secret sisters materialize when people die that you don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if she's his sister, or the the daughter or not. But that, you know, stranger things have happened. But I feel bad that you know, if that was the case and they never got to reconcile their relationship, you know, the daughter and John, then that's unfortunate.
They're going to do something about this cremation stuff, because when I had to cremate my mother, when she passed in August, they were like, well, by law, we have to at least try to contact like the immediate family. You just can't go
Really?
burning somebody up,
Oh,
you know?
interesting.
Yeah. So that's the only reason why I question how were they allowed to go ahead and cremate him without contacting Shannon. So
Mm.
that's something that's going to be probably looked into. So we'll see.
Yeah,
But
well, as it
rest in
should be.
peace, John Amos. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. What's his name? What was his name? Evans. What was his character's name on Good
James
Time?
Evans.
James
Damn,
Evans.
damn,
Damn,
damn.
damn, damn.
Damn, damn, damn.
R.I.P. James Evans.
The VP debate.
Oh gosh, I fell asleep.
JD Vance and Governor Tim Walz faced off Tuesday in their first and only VP debate of 2024.
Thank God.
It was a civil and policy focused showdown where both were asked about escalating tensions in the Middle East, immigration, inflation, healthcare, abortion, and other key issues for American voters. The two largely focused on substance rather than personal attacks, but they did trade barbs on a host of topics before ending with a tense exchange over January the 6th, 2021, and the future of democracy. The mics were cut during a contentious back and forth while Vance false claims about Haitian immigrants eating the pets of residents in Springfield, Ohio. Overall, analysts say the debate is unlikely to change the trajectory of the presidential race. A CNN instant poll also found no clear winner in the matchup. It was a snooze fest.
100%.
I was
Yes, I got the best night's sleep of my life. 100%. I'm an insomniac. It was like, oh, this is like taking Benadryl. It's perfect.
I mean,
Can I ask you? Okay, you know, my favorite person is James. You're plus one. Where is he from?
Rhode Island.
So if you go to James's family's house, is this like the conversation that you sit in the middle of? I feel like this is like if I'm invited to like my white boyfriend's house.
But they're talking.
Yeah, that's him and his dad talking
Mhm.
about politics. I'd be like,
It's just
at least Trump. You got crazy over here. You got Kamala with her neck swinging like that's a debate, baby. Yes, that's what we want.
we are really reality TV. We're so used to reality TV that we can't see two people like just having a conversation
Being respectful and civil, yeah, that's boring to us.
Yeah, well, that last part gave us the drama, but to get to it, it was like, ooh,
Yeah, we would have
okay.
walked out of the movie if we were in the.
Make sure you check your voter registration.
Yes, yes,
Well, at least
yes.
Mexico has its first female president.
Yay!
Claudia Sheinbaum took office Tuesday as Mexico's first female president in the nation's more than 200 years of independence. The 62-year-old former Mexico City mayor and lifelong leftist campaigned on a promise of continuing and protecting the signature initiatives of her mentor. She's also a scientist, she's a mother, and she was just this is like a wonderful thing. So here's another country that has had a female leader.
Absolutely. It's about time. Hopefully, we're going to have one too. I mean, like, listen, the fact that we haven't had a female president in all these years is crazy.
You know, I always say we had 2 Bushes. Let's have a real Bush in office.
Look at
So.
you. Mom, that's a vagina joke, Mom. And that was Lonnie, not me.
Moving on, talking about men, the Taliban,
Oh,
we're
God.
going over there. They're starting to restrict men, the Taliban in Afghanistan. The women, they have done some horrendous things for women. They can't go to school after the 6th grade. They're restricting them. They have to be totally covered now. They can only go out if they are escorted by a male. It's just bad. And for a long time, the men have like not said anything. And now look what's happening. The Taliban is now restricting the men. Yes, they're doing things like telling them that they can't imitate a non-Muslim. They can't wear like what a non-Muslim wears.
Really?
So like they can't wear jeans or things like that. They also have to grow their beards to a certain length now, and some of them don't have beards at all. It's all kind of rules that they're implementing on the men, and so now some of the men are saying, "Wow, we should have spoke up when they were doing this to the women."
Well, cut to this is the end of the Taliban because the minute you come for men, the same thing was like the minute men have to like use birth control, like it's over. You know what I mean? Like that women, it's like yeah, we're gonna stone you if you have an affair if somebody looks at you on the street. But like, oh, I can't wear jeans. End of the Taliban. Mark my words. You heard it here today, people. Erica predicted the end of the Taliban.
Oh my god! You know what? I wouldn't mind that. Men would come in handy for something like this because what they're doing to the women over there is just horrendous. I mean, women they can't work, and you can't assume that every woman is going to have a husband. Or what if you do have a husband and the husband dies, and then you're not able to take care of your family? It's just ridiculous.
Or if your husband's abusive, or like that's a lot of things that were happening. Abusive husbands, like they're marrying girls when they're like 13 and 14. I mean, come on now.
They got to get it together. Moving on, a couple of cancellations that were very surprising. Last week we had Tracy McMillan on, who is the creator and co-executive producer of Unprisoned. And Hulu just announced that Unprisoned would be canceled after the 2nd season. They're canceling a lot of shows, okay?
They're canceling everything.
They canceled Black Cake. And
is that another black show?
Yeah, it was a black show. That's why it's called Black Cake. But
and that's why it's canceled.
It's like right now, people that are not in the business, you don't understand. The industry is taking a dive right now. There are a lot of layoffs. All of the studios are laying off. They're cost cutting. They're doing all these things. And so whenever they do this, they're looking at certain series and saying, okay, we're not going to support this. We're not going to put money behind this one. So that's what you're seeing right now. Traditional studios should have never taken the model of streaming services when it comes to television and television shows. You're on a show and you guys are what? Did you get picked up for another season? You got 9?
We haven't gotten our back 9 yet, but I'm knock on wood, I hope we do. But yeah, I mean, to your point, the studios are cannibalizing each other with their streaming versus their broadcast. So like, who's
Right.
gonna win? And so there's a very rare situation to be on a broadcast show now that goes into 24 episodes, which is what broadcast shows do, versus these streaming shows that get like 8 episodes, and people have to get another job because you can't just work a whole year on 8 episodes. So it becomes a kind of a gig economy. But knock on wood, we'll get our back 9. But they're holding out on it because again, it's like a penny pinching, making sure their asses are covered. Because like, well, we're gonna get it till till the show airs. We want to see if people like it. They're testing every episode. No one wants to put their job on the line if the show doesn't do well. So there's no leaps of faith anymore, and it's very difficult to give a show time to find its audience if you're so worried about your job.
Yeah. First of all, they should have never gave awards to. If they give awards, see, people don't understand that awards are currency. That's why I keep mine right by me.
I know.
So y'all remember, I'm an award winning. But in all honesty, when they started giving like Netflix and the HBOs the same type of awards, like it could have been like a different category. It could have been like a streaming Oscar or a streaming Emmy.
I think that's
it. Shouldn't have been a traditional studio Emmy, because once you did that, now everybody's like, oh my God, this is like new competition. But yeah, they're able to do different types of shows because they do a shorter amount. They only give you 8 shows, whereas like y'all doing 9.
Well, we did 13, and we'll get 9 in the back end, hopefully.
That's like,
it doesn't happen anymore. Yeah,
you do that because you're hoping that you get to 4 or 5 seasons, so you get like 100 episodes, and then you could syndicate it, and that's how they make their money.
Exactly.
But with this, like they say, oh, we did 2 seasons for Unprisoned. No, that was just 16 episodes. That's not even a full season, so you can't even syndicate that. Exactly. So it's just crazy to me that they took that type of business model. But we wish the best, but unfortunately it got canceled, and they're canceling a lot of other ones just because they're cost saving. Somebody else that's deciding to leave is Hoda Kotb. She has announced that she is leaving Today show early next year, but will remain part of the NBC family. She tearfully recounted on Today that on her 60th birthday in August, it prompted a decision to make a change. She said, quote, I realized that it was time for me to turn the page at 60 and to try something new. I remember standing outside looking at these beautiful bunch of people with these gorgeous signs, and I thought, this is what the top of the wave feels like for me. She also has 2 young daughters. They're 7 and 5, and that was also a factor in her decision, because you got to get up early in the morning. They've been working, Hoda. I mean, they've been working, but she's still part of the NBC family, so I'm pretty sure she'll be doing all kinds of specials and stuff like that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I was sad because I love me some Hoda. Like, her and Gail are like my best friends in my head. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I would hang out with them and have like glasses of Chardonnay with Hoda and like tequila with Gail. I mean, that's like my jam. But I do understand, because you're right. I mean, the Today show that you get up like, what, 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning? I mean, that's like, and to have 2 small kids, like, who's taking care of those kids when you're at work at 4 in the morning? And then she also does the later episode with like Jenna or whatever. So she's at NBC all day. So who's taking care of the kids? And so I get it. And I think she initially had the kids through surrogate, but she had them with a partner, and then her partner and her broke up. So I don't know how that works, co-parenting. But yeah, it's a lot. And I think she wanted to, realizing that she's 60 now, like, not that she's going anywhere soon, but like, you want to take those years to spend with your kids, because the kids are in a really, not vulnerable age, but they're in their formative ages. And so I think, to be home with them, and she can't, because Hoda used to make $20 million a season, or, so like, she's good.
Y'all can get me for a $1.05. Ooh, I'll take her place.
That would be good. Wouldn't that be great if you replaced Hoda? I think you'd be perfect.
I would. I just want to be on the late.
You'd have to get up at 4 in the morning.
No, I don't want to be on the real like Today Show. I want to be on that third one with George Bush, baby
Yeah,
girl.
with
I
George
want to be
Bush
with
and
baby
Donna.
girl. Me
Yeah,
and her.
where you
You
can have
know.
wine. Yeah, you and
Yeah.
her having wine.
Yeah, we can have
That's gonna be
wine, we
good.
can talk, we can do all of that. So check me out, NBC. Okay, check me out. Anyway, all hail Kathy Bates. The Oscar
Oh,
winning veterans return to broadcast TV with CBS's Matlock delivered great numbers 7.73 million viewers on Sunday. I mean, it's CBS's largest audience for a non post Super Bowl series premiere in 5.5 years. Kathy still got it. That's a grown
Kathy.
ass woman.
Hell yeah, grown ass women get ratings.
Hey,
Go
you know
girl.
what? First of all, Kathy Bates has talent. She's got the experience,
Mhm.
and Matlock was always good. I still watch the old ones with Andy Griffin. It was
Oh,
it was
oh
good.
dear, oh dear. You're like,
I do.
don't be talking about that. You make
What are you
don't bring
talking about?
don't
You better watch. I watched the Andy Griffin show, Perry Mason, westerns,
We're
all of
getting
them.
less and less sexy every minute of this discussion. But can I tell you, Kathy is so sweet because we on the Papa's House, which is the show I'm working on. It's on CBS, and we did a spoof of Misery. And Kathy,
Oh, really?
yeah, we just like listen, we're funny. So Kathy was sweet enough to send us a video of her basically as her Misery character, telling us not to fuck it up. And so she's not only a badass, but she's a sweetheart that she would like to go out of her way to like give us props like that. So it was very sweet.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
I
Well,
know,
you
it's
know
very
what?
cute.
That's the reason why we love us some Kathy Bates. And
Kathy
y'all make
Bates.
sure you check it out on Sunday, CBS Madlock.
And check out Papa's House October 22nd on CBS Monday nights.
Yeah, at least so she can keep a job. She got to cover some of these bills.
Did you hear me, CBS? I'm plugging.
There is a trend on Black Twitter. Black Twitter is
Oh
like
my God,
awesome.
Black Twitter.
But there's a trend that they started, and it was called "Aged Like Fine Wine," where they're
Oh.
showing pictures of grown ass people and who are aging like fine wine. And so I was checking it out, and they had like our girl, of course, Regina Hall. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
Regina is just so sweet.
gorgeous.
Sanaa Lathan,
Oh,
Salma
yeah.
Hayek. They even had Steve Carell on there, and
Oh yeah, he looks good.
yeah, and
I
you
mean-
know who's mine
Who?
is Lorenz Tate.
Oh
Lorenz
yeah,
Tate.
he looks the same, the exact same.
Oh,
He has not aged a day.
yeah. Who do you think has aged like fine wine?
Are we talking men? Hands down, Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah.
I mean, he like does push-ups in his like leather pants. I mean, that dude is hot as hell and has not. I mean, he looks better now, I feel, than he did when he was like Romeo Blue back in the day. Like he is the hottest guy I think out there right now, and he's like
Ooh.
he's 60, right?
He's up there.
I mean, he looks fantastic. Fine wine. It's like a fine bourbon more so. Like it's aged in a
Okay.
barrel.
All right. All right.
I love me some Lenny. If he wasn't so short, I would be all over that. He's a little too short for me, but he looks great.
I love it. And you know what? Just a quick reminder, everyone, that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Where are we going from Lenny Kravitz to
Because I can't keep you quiet. But it's a very important because it's October, and it's very important to make sure that you get your mammograms, that you do your self checks, because we want to see you guys around. Did you get a self check, or did you get your mammograms every year?
I do get mammograms, and I have two very close friends who both recently beat breast cancer. So 100%. It's very passionate for me, and they both are doing great. They're both, cancer free, but if they hadn't got early detection, they would be in different places. So get yourself checked 100%.
Definitely. And with that, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to jump into today's topic with our girl, Margaret Cho. This is Grown Ass Women Talking. Today's guest is a comedian, actor, musician, advocate, entrepreneur, 5-time Grammy and Emmy nominee. For decades, her strong voice has been lighting the path for women, members of underrepresented groups, and other performers to follow. She has been named one of Rolling Stone's 50 best stand-up comics of all time, one of Vogue magazine's top 9 female comedians of all time, and was chosen by CNN as one of the 50 people who changed American comedy. She's recently made guest appearances on shows like The Flight Attendant, Hacks, and the movie Fire Island, and you can currently see her live on her Live and Live It comedy tour. Please welcome Margaret Cho. Margaret!
Hi. Oh my goodness, I miss you. I haven't seen you in such a long time.
Girl, it's been so rough. What have you been up to?
You know, just doing the same thing. We need comedy. This world needs comedy.
Yes.
So you and I are very, very busy.
Leah, how is your comedy tour going?
It's going good. You know, it's really exciting to be able to go back and actually like live performance is still very exciting and new because we couldn't really do it at full capacity till now, really.
Right.
So it's been incredible and people really want to laugh and, you know, it's an election year. So that's been really crazy. And I spent the day over with Chrissy Teigen and John Legend making lots of media content to push up, you know, our candidate for Kamala to be president. So, you know, I spent the day doing that and it was really incredible.
You know what? Thank you for doing that. And thank you for being such a fierce voice in comedy. And I can't wait to get into this topic. For today's grown-ass topic, we're talking about being okay being solo. Society often pressures women into thinking that fulfillment comes only through romantic relationships or motherhood. But what about the women who find joy in their own company? Fulfillment doesn't have to come from others. It can come from truly knowing and loving yourself. And this week, we're diving into the power of solitude and the lessons you learn when you embrace being on your own. And this episode is for those women out there who are still living single and proud. Margaret, tell us about your journey of building a life that is truly your own.
I had my first boyfriend when I was 5.
Same.
Wow.
And that actually was my best relationship. You know, I'm always trying to get back to him. He was really good to me. And I miss him actually. But like, yeah, I've had a boyfriend or, you know, something, you know, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, you know, it ever since I was a child and ever since I was an adult, constantly rotating relationships. And I've always been miserable in them. You know, I've never had a good one. I really never have.
Really?
And never. I've
And if
always
you think
tried to make it work. Yes.
Do you think that's why they never worked? Because they were never really good relationships.
Yeah. I was trying to make it work. I think if you're in a good relationship, that's great for you. But,
Right.
I could never make it happen for myself because I was always either trying too hard or trying to make something fit. And, you know, I was in a really destructive one where I just was drinking a lot and, you know, it was going bad. And I was with this guy who was very abusive. And I just thought, well, maybe I'll just break up with him by dying.
Oh, no.
Like that was like my, you know, I mean, and so now, you know, it's been about 8 years. I'm sober and I'm rid of him. And since then, like, I'm like, I don't think I need to do this again. And I really have had such a good time on my own. And society does such a number on women, making us think, well, we've got to find the one.
Why do you think that happens? Why is there this societal pressure that we have to be in a relationship?
I honestly think that society is really afraid of women who are not being watched over by somebody, by a man, because they think we're just too powerful.
Interesting.
We would really take over.
Well, can I ask you a question going back to what you're talking about trying to make things work? Like, I know I've been married twice, Loni. I don't want to hear it from you. I'm a broken record. But
the wedding bells sound like alarm clocks to her, Margaret.
But I do think the superpower that I've had from those relationships is getting out when I knew they weren't working for me. Like, why do women try to stay when they know things aren't working for them?
Well, well, I stayed in one relationship because we had tickets. We had, we had tickets for Hamilton. Oh, I got way in advance, and I'm not splitting those up.
That's a
You know
good
what I mean?
reason.
When you get tickets, you are stuck until
Listen.
that event happens. I'm going to see that show, But it's like, I think we just get in our head of like, I don't want to look again.
Mhm.
I don't want to keep on looking. I learned a lot from that TikTok series, Who TF Did I Marry?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
And she was saying she stayed with it because she wanted it to be her turn. I wanted to
Oh.
be my turn to be the bride. I wanted to be my turn to have the wedding. I wanted it to be my turn. And so we get in these relationships thinking, I want it to be my turn.
Right.
I want to have this prince and this knight in shining armor. But that's not reality all the time.
Right, exactly.
Those guys exist. They're out there, but it's not. I think we just tell ourselves these stories more than the truth that should be told.
I also feel like, as we get older, it's not always going to be a lifelong relationship, right? I mean, again, married twice, but both of my relationships were not toxic. There wasn't like anyone was beating me, but they ran their course. And so to be shamed into staying when someone's not right for you anymore, you've outgrown that relationship, is what I think women, have to deal with. Like, there's no shame in moving on. And so I think once we embrace that, it's like, okay, this was a good time for my 20s. This was a good relationship for my 30s. Now that I'm in my 40s and 50s, there's a different relationship that I need.
Well, it's also hard because, like Margaret said, it's kind of embedded in us when we're young with these damn fairy tales. Look for your prince. He's going to give you a kiss. You never hear, you hear Beauty and the Beast. You never hear Beauty and the Frog Face bitch. It's a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
Right.
and so when you're a little girl and at 5 years old, you have that young man who was kind to you. It happened to me when I was in high school. Like, my boyfriend would always buy me McDonald's. So that was my thing.
Aww.
You know what I mean? And I was always searching for that next. But as you get older and you deal with people that's got baggage, that's you're going through life, it's hard. But then that little girl in me is always like, well, that's your prince.
Right.
You got to stay because that's your prince. You got to work it out. And you don't. Grown-ass women figure it out and realize that they can do things on their own. So, Margaret, now that you're single, what are some of the discoveries that you're finding out about yourself?
Well, that I really enjoy my own company, and that I really love that I can live alone and have this house that's full of love all the time. I have wonderful animals. I have so many great friends. And it's also, there's dick. You can have dick. Like, there's so much dick. There's no shortage. It's always around, so you can always get it.
Listen,
It's always there, honey.
It's always there. It doesn't have to be asexual. It doesn't have to be aromantic, but it can definitely be without that primary partner, without a sense of like needing to find the one, and that to me has been really a big life lesson. Because I've just been so motivated to, like, as soon as I got out of a relationship, I got to get into another one. So I have a very big fear of being alone.
Well, that's the misconception. It's like being alone doesn't equate being lonely. Like, you can be alone and have, like you said, a beautiful house full of animals, friends, godchildren, whatever you want to fill your house with. But just because that you don't have a man or a partner doesn't mean you're lonely.
Yeah, well, some of us are. Erica.
You have a boyfriend. I don't want to hear from you. Why are you in this conversation?
You can have a boyfriend and still be lonely.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
Sometimes you want to be lonely.
That's
from
true.
him. My boyfriend, though. But this is what I want to ask both of you ladies. What advice would you give to someone embracing singlehood and they're a grown-ass woman right now?
Well, I think you should really take yourself out on dates, which I do pretty often. I like to go to restaurants by myself, and I really like to have a really good time, or just spend like the day like doing things that I want to do, like actually plan things and like go and do them. And like I take dance classes that are really like, it's not about exercise, it's about just expression, and it's really fun and it's really beautiful. You go and you do experiences or take trips. I take trips on my own that are not comedy. That's the other thing. We have to do things that have nothing to do with comedy. When you go travel, that's like a hard thing for comics because we're always like thinking about work.
Yeah.
But you know, like actually going on a vacation, that's really special, and that's something that I really treasure. So that's my advice: is to embrace this wonderful time to spend with your most important person, which is you.
I love that.
Oh, I
Erica,
love
what's
that.
your bad advice?
Listen. No, I will say that I think it's changed over the years because again, when I was first divorced from my first husband when I was very young, I literally could not be alone. So I would go out every night with my girlfriends or go out and be in the streets because I was like afraid of being alone. Now, after my second divorce, I really do cherish like, oh, I don't have to go home and like cook for someone, or I don't have to go home and worry about what he's doing or worry about what he wants, or if I to I can't just take my bra off and like not wear any makeup. You know what I mean? Like this is like all about me right now, and I'm embracing that time in my life. And to your point, I'm loving myself. I can get a mani-pedi. I can watch the Housewives marathon. I could do whatever I want that's going to make me feel happy, and that's a luxury. And people don't realize what a luxury it is, especially women, because we're always taking care of other people.
But I do want to say, as we get older, Margaret, and we're living alone, we do have to have a support system, correct? People to check in. Do you have that?
Absolutely. I mean, I have a really amazing group of friends, people that I've known for really long time. We are, and my family also. I'm very close with my family, and I'm taking care of my older parents who are now in assisted living, and so they're almost like my kids in a way. You know how they it reverses age where they become like they're in daycare. I had to sort of keep tabs on them. They're keeping tabs on me. My mom really wants me to be in a relationship. She's, I wish you would download the Timber.
Yeah.
Can you do profile on Timber? I wish I will pay for you to have premium Timber. I don't want to be on Timber, but I'm very social also, and then I'm also out every night doing comedy, and like comics really we take care of each other as well. So we've formed lifelong relationships in this business, and that's really special too.
When you talk about your parents, like mine are the same. I'm not. My parents are, thank God, independent. Like they can take care of themselves. But they're only happy when I'm in a relationship. So I get the same thing. Like you do imitations of your mother. Like my mother's become a character on this show. We call her Claire Huxtable because my family's the Huxtables, and so Claire Huxtable has a comment about every episode. But they're in a different generation, right? And so I always say that our generation of women, we're kind of going through evolution. Like we're losing our tails in real time because we have mothers who want us to be on Timber or want us to be married, but then they also told us save your money so you don't need a man. So my mom told like have your own bank account, and so we're like kind of straggling the line of like, yes, we want that, like Loni says, that 5-year-old boyfriend who bought us a burger, but then we also want independent. So we're kind of paving the way, I think, for the next generation to be completely independent. Like my god kids, right? I have a 20-something-year-old goddaughter, and she's like, I may never get married. I'm not gonna have kids. Like she's she's in Harvard, going to graduate school because she just decided why not, and it's like we're paving the way for this generation of women who, when they get to be our age, will have, done it because of what they wanted, not because our parents wanted us to do certain things.
And I think it's important, to realize that it's okay to be solo, but you're open to having a relationship, correct?
Yes. I mean, I'm open to it, but also I'm also very aware that I have a different attitude. Like I was such a serial monogamist before. Like I had to have a relationship or else I didn't exist. And so now I'm pretty much under this idea of like, if it happens, it's gotta be right.
Right.
I can't go into another situation where I'm completely constantly just micromanaging the relationship. And it's also my fault too, because I'm choosing people that are unavailable, and then because ultimately I'm unavailable, really. So I think what I've learned also through the journey of relationships in my life, that I'm actually the most unavailable person.
Interesting. Do you think you're more productive when you're single?
Well, I think so now, just because I've been single for a good long chunk. I've really feel, it's not even that it's productive, but it's more I just feel happier. and more serene and more complete. Because part of myself is not missing chasing after something that's not working or that I'm not able to catch.
I love that. But if you do get like, get you some, whatever it may be,
Uh-huh.
do they get to stay the night or you kick them out right
Oh,
then?
they leave. I can't. You know
Yes.
what? I can't sit with the snoring.
Oh my God.
That's not good. No snoring. I mean, unless we're on a trip, then that's a little bit different. Then I kind of deal with it differently. But because when you're grown, you got to go home.
Yes. Oh
You
my
can't
God,
be
yes.
like staying out at somebody's house. You know what I mean? When you're grown, you stay home or you leave early enough in the morning where it's like you didn't spend the night. So
100%. And you got to get a dog to use the excuse, oh, I got to go home with my dog. My dog needs to be taken out. Like,
yeah,
that's the,
like I
Yeah.
don't like to spend the night at anybody's house. Like,
No.
But what do you?
Gross.
How do you tell them if they at your house? Like, you gotta go.
yeah, well, they
100%.
already know.
Yes.
Like, that's already kind of pre-negotiated.
Oh, okay.
Anytime I have sex with somebody, they have to fill out a form. They have to fill out a bunch of like,
Right.
like, because
NDA.
I have to tell, like, okay, I like this sexually, I don't like that. Don't do that. And whatever you
I
do,
love it.
don't do that. And then also, you turn into a pumpkin at 2 a.m. So
Yes.
you're going to have to leave. So at this time, you're going to want to start to wrap things up. And so I'm just very clear and concise so that nobody's hurt or feels awkward.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I always want, anything like that to be very clear. So I'm pretty good about that.
But that's what being a grown-ass woman is. You can be honest, right? It's like, listen, I got stuff to do. I mean, like, I got a job. I've got, people to, like, see. I've got, you don't have to coddle
Yeah, but
them.
she's Margaret Cho. You know they want to stay around.
Yeah,
They want,
but she
they
got
won't
stuff
stay
to
around.
do. She's
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Let's talk a little bit about your Live and Live It comedy tour. What can people expect from this tour?
Well, we're talking a lot about this election, and it's just such a really bizarre time, where we're actually like tiptoeing around Donald Trump. Like, people are just so worried. Like, what if he doesn't accept a loss? Like, he better accept
Yeah,
a
he
loss.
has to.
Like, why is it the question? Like, why are we so like afraid? And I think America has collectively become like an abused child. Like, we're so on eggshells around this abusive father.
Mhm.
And we really need to break out of that mold of like, who cares what he says?
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
gonna lose, and he's gonna leave, and he's gonna go to jail, and that's that's it. And it's like, so a lot of the show is that, and just talking about all the sort of collective trauma that this time has caused. So it's not just the last 4 years, but like the last 8 years, really. It's like through all of his presidency and through COVID and everything. So it's kind of managing all of that through comedy, which I love. I think it's really helped me get through all this time.
Do you realize the history that you have as being the first Asian American with a network sitcom? Do you still see that as something that can help other future comics coming up? Because you give great advice when you talk about it, but I just wanted to know how do you still see it?
Oh, thank you. Well, I love it because a lot of the Asian American comedians that are really, really popular today looked at me and they saw me and they thought, I can do this because she's doing
Amazing.
this. So I'm so grateful. They're all my children, like Ali
Yeah,
Wong
absolutely.
and Sherry Cola and Ronnie Chang and Joel Kim Booster and Bowen Yang. They're my babies.
Aw.
And so I'm so proud of what they're able to accomplish. So they're my greatest achievement,
That's
really.
amazing.
I also am always asking them for jobs. I'm going to ride those coattails,
Oh, yeah.
because they're going to need somebody to play their mom.
Right.
And I'm always hitting them up for everything. So it's great because they will always throw me a job here and there. And I'm so honored. But, they're such amazing people. And I'm just really fortunate to have had the chance to do what I did and inspire people.
I love it because you have been able to survive, Margaret Cho. That's why, I've seen you just continuously rise and rise and rise. And a lot of female comics can't say that, especially, with us being in a minority. What would you say to people out there no matter what their occupation is, in holding on and having perseverance.
Oh, well, thank you. But I think the most important thing is to have a lot of gratitude, like to have gratitude for it and to enjoy it. If you enjoy it, if you continue to enjoy it, because I still love going out every night and doing shows, whether it's like at the clubs or a big theater or wherever it is. Like, I love the craft of what we do. And for me, it is such a joy to do it. Even when I'm like failing, like I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful to find out that joke is not funny.
Yeah.
Like I've fallen in love with the idea of what I do, and I've always been in love with it. And I think that's what's truly magical, that you can love something that you discovered at 14, as I did, just as much at 55. And I'm still loving it. So that's a really good thing. So my main relationship actually is comedy. That's what I've been really married to my whole life.
Well, you know what? We are proud of you, and it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on Grown Ass Women.
Thank you.
You're just my sunshine.
Amazing.
I love you,
you.
Margaret.
You're the best. It's always good to see you. Thank you.
And for our listeners, be sure to check out Margaret Cho's Live and Live It comedy tour. Tickets are available at margaretcho.com. And when we come back, we're going to get the takeaway with me, Loni. This is Grown Ass Women Talking. Thanks, Margaret.
Thanks,
Thank
Margaret. Oh my God, how much do we love Margaret Cho?
I mean, she was just a darling. She's so historic, and we've been knowing each other for so long through comedy. And just to, she's one of those grown-ass women that persevere. And I was glad to give her flowers.
100%.
I think that's the nice thing, too, about this show is that we give women their flowers while we can.
Well, especially, and I want to hear your takeaway from this whole conversation, but what I took away from it was, the idea that she has had this long-lasting career. And as she said, persevered through ups and downs, but that same love and passion for comedy that she had in her 20s is still there, which is like inspiring to see.
Well, I think the biggest takeaway too is it is okay to be solo. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be solo forever. It's just that no matter what age, we all could use a break. And so, it's okay. But if you are, solo, make sure that you have a support system. Make sure that you have a circle of friends that you can be in contact with. Get a pet, like you have a pet. I have James.
Poor James.
Oh my goodness. But definitely, find solitude. Make sure that you have hobbies. Make sure that you keep yourself busy. It's great to be alone at times. So don't be afraid of if you're in some type of weird relationship that you're not happy. Get out of it. Do not remain in something that is not good for you, because life is too short. And that's my takeaway. Any final thoughts?
Well, my final thought, as always, is I'm never going to be solo because I always have you. So tell James to scooch over, because I'm going to be in the middle tonight.
Y'all both could be in the same bed. I'm not being in the same bed with
Scooch
you two.
over, James. I'm coming in.
Double snoring.
Me and my dog, Kotb. Kotb's going to be at the
foot
of the bed.
The dog too? Oh, I'm in your house and you over here. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of Grown Ass Women Talking. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram or YouTube at GAWT Pod. Come see me perform stand-up live in Phoenix.
Woo!
On November the 10th. Please, it's just one show.
I'm busy.
Y'all can do that. Or at the Miami Improv on December 15th. Tickets are on sale now. Check the show notes for details. Thanks again to Margaret Cho for joining us. Thank you to Elizabeth Munch. And thank you, Siege, for putting up with both of us.
Thanks, Siege. And bye. Love to everyone. Grown Ass Women Talking is a collaboration between True Love Productions, Dunnigan Lane Productions, and Heart Media Productions. Our executive producers are Lonnie Love, Erica Montalfo, and Siege Pokinghorn.
This episode was produced by Siege Polkinghorn and edited by Nicholas Crawford. Our music is by Cole Curtis.